You know that feeling, right? That little spark of hope for something better? We've all felt it. It's totally universal, but at the same time, it's one of life's biggest mysteries. So today, we're going to dive in and explore what's really going on when we hope for something, and maybe figure out why it doesn't always go the way we want it to. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You see one person get their most heartfelt wish, while someone else who seems just as deserving gets nothing. Is it all just random? Is it fate? Or is there something else going on under the hood? Let's try and piece this puzzle together. Okay, so first things first. Before we can figure out why hope sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, we have to get on the same page. We need a really solid definition of what we're even talking about. Let's break it down. Okay, notice that key phrase right there, external factor. This is so important. Hope isn't just you sitting there, passively wishing. According to our source material, it's an active appeal. It's like you're making a call to something outside of yourself to step in. And understanding this is absolutely crucial. So, what is this external factor? Well, it kind of depends on who you ask, right? For a believer, it might be God or angels or what our source calls constituted unseen powers, which is basically a way of saying established spiritual forces. But for non-believers, it's usually chalked up to chance or lady luck. But here's where it gets really fascinating. These two views, which seem like total opposites, might actually be way closer than you think. And this really nails the common ground. I mean, think about it. When a gambler at a casino table begs Lady Luck for a win, they're not talking to a random number generator. They're appealing to a force that they hope can actually feel them, that can perceive their wish. In other words, sentient. So whether you call it a higher power or just plain luck, the very act of hoping suggests a belief in some kind of conscious, invisible energy that can actually influence things. Okay, so if we're all calling on this external energy, how do we actually do it? Well, the source suggests there's a kind of universal process, almost like a set of unwritten rules for making a hope come true. Let's walk through the 3 steps involved. So first up, step 1. You have to ask. This could be a formal prayer, a quiet meditation, or even just a super deep, unspoken yearning from the very core of your being. Second, you have to act. This is the practical part. You can't hope to win the lottery if you don't actually go buy a ticket, right? You have to take that first real-world step to open the door. And finally, step 3, you await the result. You've done your part, now you have to wait. And this brings us right back to the heart of the whole mystery. What happens when you do everything right? You ask with every fiber of your being, you take the necessary action, and nothing. Crickets. This is where hope can really sour into disappointment and just, confusion. But here's the key insight from our source. This failure, it isn't just bad luck. It's actually a clue. It suggests there's a missing element in how we understand this whole thing, a variable in the equation of hope that we're just completely overlooking. And this mystery gets even deeper when you think about promises like the one in Matthew 7:7. I mean, if it's as simple as, ask and you shall receive, then why do 2 people in the exact same situation get totally different results? This really suggests that the outcome isn't just about the wish itself, but maybe it has something to do with the person who's doing the wishing. Some kind of personal element is at play here. And now we get to the proposed solution to this whole puzzle. The so-called missing element isn't some flaw in the system. It's actually a fundamental law that governs the whole thing, a hidden law of hope that operates on a completely different principle than just getting what we want. And here it is. This is the core idea. The system isn't designed to be some cosmic vending machine where you put in a wish and get out a prize. It's designed for our growth. Hopes are fulfilled not just because we want something, but because the outcome, whether we see it as good or bad at the time, is exactly what we need for our own spiritual development. So let's just break down how these laws are supposed to work. They're automatically triggered by our own inner state, our spiritual state, to deliver the exact experiences we need to learn and evolve. Now, this is not a simple reward or punishment system. It's all about getting what you need, which is not always what you want. And here's the kicker. Even when a wish is granted, your free will is everything. How you choose to use that fulfilled hope, well, that becomes the real test. Now, I know this might all sound very spiritual, very abstract, but what's truly amazing is how this very idea finds a surprising echo in a completely different and very pragmatic field, the world of economics, of all places. First, just a little bit of context. The source for this spiritual perspective is a text called the Grail Message, and its central idea is that these unbreakable, natural laws govern everything in creation, from how galaxies move right down to our own personal hopes. Now hang on, because here comes the twist. Over in economics, there's this concept from game theory called the Nash equilibrium. And what it says is that the best possible outcome for a whole group happens when each person acts in their own best interest. But, and this is the important part, while also considering the actions and interests of everybody else. And there it is. That's the connection. Both the spiritual law and the economic theory are pointing to the exact same principle. The greatest benefit, whether it's for society or for your own personal growth, comes from a system that considers the whole, not just isolated, selfish desires. It's all about cooperation and how we're all interconnected. So with all this in mind, how should we start thinking about hope? This new understanding really encourages us to completely reframe the whole purpose and practice of hoping in our own lives. So, what if the real power of hope isn't about getting what we want? What if its true purpose is to prepare us, to open our hearts and our minds to the lessons that are hidden inside of every single experience, whether it's a dream coming true or a really painful disappointment? And that leaves us with one final question to really think about. What would change for you right now if you started to see your hopes not as some list of demands to be met, but as a curriculum designed for your own growth? Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining.